All right. So, right. Good evening and welcome all of you to this introductory session brought to you by AuxEn. And the topic of this short-term course that we are planning to launch is design and detailing of foundation systems using CSI Safe and manual methods. So this is the introductory session, and we would like to welcome you all to this session. I am Ashutosh Kutumble, and uh, me and my wife Akanksha, we would be involved in taking this session. So she would be coming to talk to you a little bit later on. So first, I will start with this session. All right, good. So is my voice properly audible to all of you? And are you able to see me and see the presentation also? Yes. So you are able to see me and hear me and also look at the presentation. Very good. Right. So we are starting with this new session. I would take around 30 minutes of your time. Most of you, those who have attended uh, previous sessions with us, this would be a little bit repetitive that you would be seeing, but just have some patience. We would be taking short while. Around 30 minutes, we will just have a brief outline of what we are going to discuss. And then we will take up your questions, whatever questions you have related to this course, we will take up afterwards. All right. So we will start with this thing that why there is this need to have this course specifically on foundation systems. Then we will talk about our firm, AuxEn, and our consultancy firm. Then few things about us. We the trainers who would be taking this course. Then how the course will flow, general guidelines, and how to proceed ahead. And in the end, we will take all your queries, whatever you may have had. So just have some patience. Uh, After around 30-35 minutes, you can ask your queries. Okay. So first of all, why is the need for this course? So basically, you see that foundation systems are very important. We all of us know that whatever is your type of structure, whether it is a residential structure or a commercial structure or a infrastructural project like bridge, culverts, anything that you may see, any civil engineering work that you see requires a foundation. All right. So foundation basically is the interface which actually transfers your load from structural level to substructure level. So above footing, above foundation, whatever we have, generally we call it our superstructure, and whatever below the ground, generally we call it as our substructure. So substructure is the interface between your ground. By ground, I mean wherever you are going to transfer your loads from building or your structure to the earth. Let's call it the earth. Okay, so foundation systems are the interface between them. All right. So naturally they become very important because they are the final load transfer point for your structure. So if the final load transfer point is not proper, then it will lead to problems in your structure as a whole. So therefore, they are obviously of a lot of importance. But then, what are the challenges that the subsurface characteristics actually change from place to place, isn't it? You must have seen different types of soils in different types in different parts of the country, or even even in a city, your soil profiles vary. Even for large sites, in a large site itself, your soil profile may vary within a site itself. So the variations are unpredictable. I can say in that way that looking from normal, let's say if you are standing on a ground just before conducting any test or before conducting any procedure, you are not in a position to find out the details about the subsurface, isn't it? So the characteristics of subsurface change from place to place. They can also change within a site, and whatever theories we have, basically, whatever theories we have for calculating the strength of a subsurface, or whatever theories we have to calculate the characteristics of subsurface, you must have studied that most of the theories are empirical in nature. isn't it? So lot of thing actually, lots of formula that you come across in geotechnical calculations are empirical in nature. They have been derived by some experimentation or by uh, some correlation or regression analysis. So they are basically at best empirical in nature. So they have to be verified by testing on site. So actual testing has to be done to verify all those properties on site. And testing in itself becomes pretty expensive. You would say that testing is a expensive part to be done on site. Only in large sites you will find that necessary number of tests are being conducted. Otherwise, testing frequency, at least in India, is pretty low. All right. So testing is low. Your site variations or variations in subsurface profiles can be large. Large variations you can see, you can observe. So basically, geotechnical engineering, you can say that it is not a perfect science. Okay. For superstructure, you have a perfect science that whatever your concrete strength is, let's say M25, Fe500, you know that how much reinforcement you have to calculate. It has what is the shear reinforcement that you need. All those things are clear for the superstructure because the formulae and everything is properly known to us. But for subsurface, these things are not very properly known. We have to rely a lot on testing, and then we have to basically take help of some empirical formulae to work these things out. And so there is this gap also between a geotechnical engineer and the structural engineering work that we do, isn't it? So basically, you will see that structural engineering or people involved in structural engineering have low knowledge or less knowledge in geotechnical engineering subjects, isn't it? Even if you look at a normal geotechnical report, not many of us are able to interpret all the results correctly, or they are not able to interpret what is being said in the geotechnical report. So there is a gap that is there between geotechnical understanding and structural engineers. So most of the time, what happens that you just say that yes, there would be SBC of 15 ton per square meter, isn't it? You must have heard people saying that this SBC would be 18, this would be 15, this would be 20, but generally we don't have much sense of it at a larger level. So it is only experience based. Most of the geotechnical things that we take into calculations are mostly experience based. They don't have any proper backing behind them. So this is one important thing that is missing for structural engineers till now, that we don't have proper understanding in geotechnical field. Okay. Then next point that makes or why we thought this course should be done is that the choice of structures substructural system actually depends on lots of factors. Okay, so your choice of substructural system may depend on what kind of superstructure you are having, what kind of structural configuration you are having for your superstructure, what are the load characteristics, what is the geotechnical property of a site, what is the choice of construction method. So many of these aspects actually decide, or they are the deciding criteria for for choosing your substructural system. When I say substructural system, I mean my foundation system. Okay, so for choosing foundation system, many of these criteria are involved. For example, you may have a normal RCC building, but you may at some location may have to provide piles for the same building, for the same location, maybe at some place for the same structure, same superstructure, you may have to provide raft. Maybe for the same superstructure, you have to provide isolated footings. Maybe somewhere the footings get combined also. So superstructure will remain the same, isn't it? But what will change or what may change is your substructural arrangement or foundation system. So therefore, this foundation system choice actually depends on several aspects. And because such a large variation can be seen, therefore, this thing becomes very important that we understand all the issues properly. All right. Next point that makes this thing a little bit tricky is that in our technical curriculum, even in engineering, we have, I mean, me and my wife, both of us have done masters also, but even after doing masters, generally we are taught only isolated foundations, isn't it? Generally, only isolated footings are covered. and maybe some combined footing somewhere here or there it is covered. But your general footing systems like piles, rafts, eccentric footings, uh, combined footings in detail, all these issues are actually not covered. Okay, so there is a lack in our understanding also. So if you ask a fresh graduate or fresh postgraduate or a fresh practicing consultant, generally the sticky point or the issue where structural engineers have the most problem is foundation design. All right. So, and in foundation design also, we are only comfortable with some simple form of isolated footing, nothing else. So there is this lack of understanding, and what does this leads to is that you have structural failures because of this lack of understanding. All right. So the lack of understanding leads to structural failure, not overnight, but maybe after 5 6 years you see some deflections in your beams. Maybe you see some deflection in the slab. So maybe the deflection may be at slab level, but the root cause may be deflection of footings, isn't it? You never know, and you never try to identify the failures. So you from ground up, you may see that this failure is in a particular beam or in a particular column, but that failure may be the cause, or sorry, that failure may be the result of some foundation level failures, isn't it? So foundation level failures are very common, or are commonly seen. Why they do not come to picture is why they do not come to light is because you cannot identify very easily whether a particular structural failure is of footing or not. But otherwise, your foundations do undergo failures generally. Okay, but they take time. I mean, a failure would happen, let's say, after 5 6 years. So after 5 6 years, anyway, nobody runs behind the contractor or the consulting engineer that look, my building is going excessive deflection and so on. So nobody is bothered after 5 6 years. So failures are there, but just because they take time in exposing themselves, therefore these issues are generally uh, you would say kept aside. All right. So then the next point with foundation system, next problem is that many of the systems actually require some complex mathematical calculations. For example, your raft foundations typically, because there is this soil and structure interaction, not in the earthquake sense, your normal soil and your raft is behaving with each other. So it is not very easy for you to manually calculate all these issues. Okay. So you would, if you want to calculate it manually, you would require some intense knowledge of plates and shells that we generally study in our postgraduate courses. And even after studying that plates and shells, it would not be sufficient for you to work out complex situations. All right. So then, therefore, what is done these days is that you take help of some software. All right. So therefore, in this course, what we are going to do, that above points, due to above points as I highlighted, that there is problem in understanding the geotechnical properties of a soil. There is problem in choosing the substructural system because of the large possibilities that you have for the same superstructure. You have large possibilities of different substructural system that may have to be used. Okay. Then as engineers, we are not much aware of the other foundation systems that are used. Generally, we are only aware of isolated footings, and that too only up till a basic knowledge we have. But in-depth knowledge we don't have even for isolated footings also. So that is another problem. Then the next problem is that some calculations for these foundation systems are pretty complex in nature. For example, raft calculations for raft are pretty complex, so they have to be done on software. So therefore, we have to basically, because of all these issues, as I have highlighted above, we thought of taking this course. And because we have been taking online courses for the past 6 7 months, we had received a lot of feedback from students and participants in the previous courses that we should have a course on foundation system, dedicated course. So therefore, we have brought in front, or we have brought this course based on foundation systems. And in this course, basically, we would be using CSI Safe. So Safe is a software if you know, that has been developed by CSI Incorporate, the same company which has developed ETABS and SAP 2000. So the same company has developed SAFE also. So we would be basically using CSI Safe and manual calculations both in this course, and we would be covering some usually used structural footing systems. Okay. So I hope you understand what is the relevance and what is the importance of having this course and how we would be addressing it. So we would be addressing through use of CSI Safe and manual calculations. I will explain what exactly we are going to discuss in this course after a few slides. This was just to highlight what is the need for this short-term course. All right. So this was one thing that we wanted to highlight. Then yes, then a few things about our firm. We are basically into structural consulting for a long time. Since long we have been into consulting. Our main working areas are industrial designs, where we deal with different industrial, uh, different industrial plants, cement industries, automobile, pharma, agro, commercial, residential. We do projects in commercial, residential, warehousing, logistics. Also, these days we are into warehousing and logistics projects, repair, retrofitting, and re-strengthening, rehabilitation kind of projects. Also, we do. We also do some projects on forensic engineering and your general PMC work. So we are into diverse RCC steel design, both we do comfortably, and several aspects of these designs we undertake in our consultancy. So this is already one thing that is going on. Then uh, uh, me and my wife basically we uh, started this started taking sessions since the year 2015. So this is how we started. And basically, we started with this aim that we had found difficulties even when we were studying as students. So even when we were doing our masters, I had basically joined my master's program with the hope and the intention that I would be able to learn some practical design and I would be able to learn some basic, I would be able to develop some basic understanding related to design, isn't it? So in masters also, many of you are masters students or already have done their post graduation. They would also agree with me that in our post graduation studies also, most of the things you will see uh, are such subjects that we actually don't require in our day to day design, isn't it? They are more of mathematical based subjects, which we general civil engineers like us may not need them in our day to day work. So even after doing masters, basically our purpose, I would say, was not solved, that we could not understand the concept related to design and how to use a software, how to do things on software, how to design things on software. All these things we could not understand. It was only after doing job and then after working on our own that we understood these things. So therefore, we started taking these trainings so that whatever knowledge we can share, it may be of benefit to uh, others. Okay, so that with that intention, basically we started, and since 15, we have been covering or we have been conducting several kinds of sessions. Uh, we have conducted some seminars, workshops, etc. We have conducted. Uh, so yeah, it has been a good learning curve for us also, and hopefully for the participants also over the 5 6 years. These are some of the general projects that we have undertaken. So if you see, there is some grain storage structure. Then on your right side is the cement plant. Then one you see is a residential construction. Again, a cement plant and a bridge. And so basically, we are into diverse fields, I would say. These are some of our sessions that we conducted online. I think few of students are also attending today's session who had uh, joined offline sessions with us. Yeah, I think the top row is the images that where we covered online sessions, offline sessions, sorry, ourselves. Rest of them are some seminars or workshops that we have conducted. All right, some technical lectures. So basically, we had been conducting offline sessions, but then we started taking online sessions because of this whole scenario of lockdown and all these things. So we basically started taking online sessions, and we have been taking since July. We have been taking online sessions, and we have taken six online sessions till now. So you can see a summary of these online sessions. And yes, so one, two, three, four, five, six online sessions we have taken. We have tried to take sessions on diverse subjects. So we have had sessions on flat slabs. We have taken a session on design of a complete building using ETABS. We have had sessions on steel structural building, PEB buildings, earthquake design. So we have conducted six such short-term courses till now, where we have got good participation from participants across the country. Also, some participants joined from Middle Eastern countries, a few from European countries also. So it has been a good experience for us. Recently, we also have started a new concept where we are basically taking that course, and we are calling it as a virtual design center, where we basically take up an actual project of RCC. So we have started with RCC residential and commercial building. So we start with a actual project, and we do it from start to finish, including drawings, design, and BOQ. So we are doing it as it would have been done in a real design office. So therefore, we have named it as a virtual design center. And the concept behind that is that we are focusing more on the implementation part, and we are trying to take up a complete project and take it right from start to finish. So it is actually good thing for a upcoming structural engineer who are fresh into the profession, and they want to understand how the complete process is taken up. So that's how we have started this virtual design center course, which is ongoing in the morning right now. So this is what we have done in the past. Uh, we have received good response and good feedback from the past students, and the feedback, their positive feedback actually gives us this enthusiasm to conduct more such courses on diverse and interesting topics. All right. So these are some of the figures, images, some of the feedbacks that people have given us. Right. So yes, this is me. So I have done my engineering from Indore GSITS, and then I did my MTech from IIT Roorkee. And after that, I worked for around 2.5 years in Pune in a consultancy firm, multinational consultancy firm, Dar Alandasa Consultants, if you have heard the name. So I worked there, and then in 2014, I and my wife came back to Indore, and then we have been involved in structural consultancy and in trainings since last 5 6 years. Okay, then okay, this is my wife. So she also is a graduate from Engineering College Kota and postgraduate from IIT Roorkee. So we were in our master's program together, and that's where we met actually. So she has worked in ACOM, she has worked in DAR Consultants, and since 2014, she also came back to Indore from Pune, and then we have been working with these training programs and uh, our consultancy. So that's how we have been doing in the past 5 6 years. So in this course also, she would be assisting me, and we would be together taking your course. All right, she would be taking care of your doubts, your queries, difficulties, and other issues, whatever you may have. So I will just call her for a brief hi, so that she could just say hi to all of you. So I would call her to interact with you.
Hello, hi everyone. Welcome all of you. I'm Akanksha. As Ashutosh already introduced me, I'm also civil engineer. We worked together. We did our post graduation together from IIT Roorkee, and then we started this firm. This is going to be our seventh short-term course, and Ashutosh has already told you the details. Many of you are the old students, as I can see the names, and few are new. So as he already told you that he will be taking the classes and I will be taking care of the other things. Kind of I will be the helping hand. We both will be available for all of you. For any time you can message us for any query, minding your technical query or anything else. If you have any issue with the video, as you will be knowing that we provide recorded videos for a week almost. So if you have any issue regarding anything, you can contact any of us. We both will try to be available all the time and will try to resolve all your issues. So I hope to have this session as good as we had the past sessions, and I hope to see you all. Okay, we'll meet.
Yes, very good. So thank you. Yes, so many of the students are past students, isn't it? So I think this introductory session was not required as such, but just as a formality, we will like to introduce in the way we always do. All right. Yes, so important thing, how have we planned this course and what all things we are going to cover? So as I told you, this would be a little bit theoretically intensive course because our other type of courses that we have started, our virtual design center courses that focus more on the application part. Here we are going to focus more on the theoretical aspects also, so that you get a in-depth understanding of all these issues related to foundation systems. Okay. So what are we going to discuss basically? So we are going to discuss few things about geotechnical report, how to interpret data from geotechnical report, what is the schedule of testing and what all parameters do you need to understand, what all tests should be conducted on site for geotechnical investigations. All these things we would like to study first. So we would be beginning from this thing. Then we will discuss about the basic types of footings that are your isolated foundations, isolated footings. In isolated footings, there can be few variations like combined footings, eccentric footings. So all these things we would also cover. Why we are covering combined and eccentric? Because most of the engineers and graduates and most of us face difficulty in understanding the issues behind combined footing and eccentric footing. Isn't it? There are lots of difficulties that we have in our mind. So therefore, we have deliberately taken up these two issues which create a lot of confusion in the minds of people. So we would be taking up isolated footings, combined footings, eccentric footings. Then we will also take up the case of piles and pile foundations. So pile foundation, pile caps, all these things would be covered in next topic. Then after pile foundation, we will also be taking the case of rafts and detailing and design aspects of rafts. Okay, I hope you understand what is raft, what is pile, what is isolated footing. I hope we all of us know these technical terms. So I'm not going into that as of today. All right. So in this course, all the usually used structural systems that you come across, that is either you generally come across isolated footings, combined footings or eccentric footings, or you come across piles, pile caps, or you come across rafts, isn't it? I don't think you have ever come across any other type of footing uh, other than these. You may have seen well foundations and KCNs, but those are very rarely used, uh, not extensively used in your normal civil structures. Okay, so the common types of footings that are used are these which I have highlighted. So piles, pile caps, rafts, and your isolated, combined or eccentric. So therefore, we have chosen these topics that we would be covering. All right. So these are the basic inclusions that we are going to have in our course. And then from for each of these footing systems, we will also take up a small example, live example that will basically include these footing systems, so that we also understand how they are to be done for an actual project that we will discuss. Uh, Plus, we will also discuss design aspects using manual calculations also. So manual calculations, I will tell you, we will do for isolated footings, combined footings, eccentric footings, pile and pile caps. Okay. But for raft, generally it becomes difficult to do manual calculations. Why? Because raft load distribution actually depends a lot on the deflection of your raft and on the subgrade modulus of your soil. So it is a classic case of finite element technique that you have to basically incorporate. So doing it manually becomes little bit challenging when raft foundations are concerned. Okay. So our raft, we won't be doing many calculations manually because as I told you, it becomes difficult for you to do it manually. So other than drafts, almost all the things we will be cross-checking manually also, and we would be looking on the SAFE software, and we would be verifying those results through manual calculations and on the software. Okay, so that is the basic idea that we have for this course, and these are the broad issues that we are going to cover. Okay, so I believe if you go through this course, I think you would be understanding almost all the basic level of, or I mean, I would say all the general kinds of footings that you see in a particular structure, you would be well aware about their design and detailing aspects after this course. Okay, so this is what we believe at the outset. Right. So in this course, basically, we expect that the participant has some basic understanding of RCC structural system. What is a beam? What is a column? How beam and slab columns are detailed, and some basic working of ETABS, not much, but if you have some basic working, it would be helpful. We won't be needing ETABS much because we would be mainly working on the CSI Safe software. So we won't be needing ETABS to that extent, but still we would expect that you have some basic understanding regarding the ETABS software also. In this course, we will try to have mixed kind of learning. So maybe on the board or maybe on the screen, uh, we may move from this board to an actual white screen, which many of you have given us in the feedback. So we are going to move from the whiteboard to a what do you call electronic screen? What do they call it? Where you write and it appears on your computer. What do you call that thing? Electronic screen. I don't know. Yes. I mean, you write on your pen like a stylus, you write it on that surface, and basically it appears on the digital screen. Yes. So, digital screen, right. So, many of you have given this feedback in the past that they would like to have it on digital screen. So, we are going to move on digital screen in coming days. And then few of the things would be on screen, few of the things may be on the board, few of the things would be on software. So this would be actually combination of 2 or 3 modes of learning. So this is how we would be proceeding. Generally our sessions would be starting this is a evening course that we are going to run, so our general sessions would start at 7:30 and they would go on till 9:50 9:50 1 5. Okay, and then we generally try to have a doubt session of 5-10 minutes after each and every day's session so that your doubts are resolved. So we would be having a separate doubt session after each session is over. We would also be sharing with you, as Akanksha also pointed it out, that we would be sharing with you limited validity videos. So typically 6 to 7 days, the video would be available for you to watch. After each day's session, it would be available for next 6-7 days for you to watch the video in case you have missed anything or you want to review and revise. All right. The planned sessions are, we are planning to have 25 sessions. So it is not 25 days, it is 25 sessions. So generally we have sessions on Monday to Friday. Between Monday to Friday, we don't have sessions on Saturday, Sunday, weekend. So we are planning to have 25 sessions. Okay. Then what do we expect at the end of this course? So we expect that after the course, the participant should gain some basic understanding On interpretation of geotechnical report, the participant should develop an understanding about the design and detailing of different foundation systems, and the participant should also be able to do them in your software, CSI Safe. Okay, so this is what we expect, and we can assure you with a fair degree of confidence that we would be able to achieve these outcomes by the end of this course. All right. Yes, why CSI Safe? So, why CSI Safe? Because CSI Safe is actually a pretty interactive software, and it is able to do most of the things related to foundation design. It is also used for slab design, but it is also able to do several aspects of foundation design also. And it is easy to use, interactive software, good capability of exporting and importing data between the CSI sister software, that is ETAP, SAP, SAFE. So because of all these things, we have decided to take our course on SAFE. There is one more software which is used, which is called as STAT Foundation, but somehow I don't personally like the feel and look of that STAT Foundation interface, isn't it? It is actually, I mean, it is not very appealing to look at Stat Foundation, and it is a bit complicated to use also. So CSI Safe, you will see that it is extremely easy. It has some very good features about the uplift calculations that we generally have to do for footing design. We will be discussing these issues. So for uplift calculations, your Safe has some really good inbuilt features which we can use. It has some good export import capabilities. So even from STAD, you can import your model to SAFE, not directly, through some indirect techniques. So we will discuss those techniques also. Say for example, you have made your model on STAD, and let's say you want to do your footings on SAFE. Okay, so SAFE and STAD are not compatible directly because they are products of two different companies, so they are not directly compatible. But you can do some jugglery, and you can import data. Import, yes, you can import data from STAD into SAFE. So after some jugglery, that is also possible. So I will tell you that also how you can do that. So I think that is a really helpful technique which you can use in even doing footings of your STAD models. Okay. So we will understand that technique also. So looking to all these issues, we have decided to conduct the course in SAFE and not in STAT Foundation. Okay. Yes. So these are some general guidelines. I know most of you are now doing online courses, so I don't need to repeat it. Yes. In case you are going to watch the sessions through mobile, then have at least SAFE, AutoCAD, and Excel ready on your laptops, because we would be needing these softwares during the course. So have these softwares ready with you. We would be mainly referring to IS 456. We would also refer to IS 2911, that is for your piles. We would also refer to which is that code? Yeah, mainly 2911, SP34, and IS 456. That should serve our purpose. And then a few codes like some there are some codes for testing schedule. There are some codes for what to say, frequency of testing that need to be carried out. Those codes I will give you their names as and when required. Okay, so those would be, yes, 2911 is mainly for piles. 2911 is for piles. Okay, so that we would be using. There are several parts to 2911. We would be using those parts, referring to those parts. And then as and when any other code is required, I will tell you whichever code we are going to refer. But mainly IS 456 and SP34, you can say, would be required primarily. Okay. Yes, we most of you have already attended sessions with us. So generally, we do not give any printed notes or PDFs, note PDFs as such. So we would expect you to take notes for yourself so that you remember whatever you have learned. And after few days, if you want to refer it back, you have ready available data with you. So we would like and we would expect you to take down notes during the session, or you can just listen in the first go, attend the recorded video again, and then take down notes, whatever you feel comfortable like. So have a pen and calculator and a notebook ready. So this was our introductory session, and so basically I was going to conduct this introductory session tomorrow, but then tomorrow, since it was 31st, so I thought nobody will turn up. So therefore we conducted this session today instead of having it tomorrow. Okay. So our main course, we are going to start from 4th of January, that is Monday, 4th of January 2021, that is Monday, and we would be starting at 7:30 p.m. Okay. So we would be starting from 4th of January, and we are going to take a nominal fees of 2,500 rupees for this entire course. So we generally take the course fee in advance. So are expected to uh, make the necessary payment before starting the course. That is, we are starting on 4th. So you are expected to do it by 10 p.m. on 3rd of January. After you complete your formalities, payment formalities, then you would be admitted to another WhatsApp group where we would be sharing your daily links and whatever other data we have to provide, that we would be sharing. Okay. Even if you do not wish to attend, no issue. You can continue being on the WhatsApp group. We would share any updates or any data or any notifications that we have from time to time with all of you. Okay. So I think that's it. Yes, that's it. Thank you for listening. And now we will take up your question. Yes, one more thing. After this session, we will just give you a response form. So please fill it. If you want to join the course, you can fill it by a positive response. Or if you do not want to join, you can fill it otherwise, so that we will have your data. Yes, fee, as I told you, would be 2,500 rupees for the entire course. And afterwards also, I mean, you can always stay connected with us afterwards also. All right. So this is it right now in the introductory session. So we are going to start from 4th of January 2021. So if you have any queries, if you have any questions, queries, doubts, difficulties, problems, expectations, whatever you have, you can now ask us. All right. Yes, a few general questions that have been asked in the chat. So one question is, where can we get the software? So we would be giving you a link from where you can download that software, educational version software you can download. So I will be sharing you that link through which you can download the required software. Okay. So then another set of questions were that why are we not doing it on STAD? Yes, Mr. Redmi is asking, can I? Okay, Mr. or Miss, I don't know. Redmi is asking, can I learn through STAD? So you can learn through STAD, but see, the basic core concepts will remain the same irrespective of whichever software you are doing, isn't it? Irrespective of whichever software you are doing, your core concepts remain the same. But there are few things which STAD is not able to do, or even if STAD is able to do, it actually is very complicated to do it on STAD. All right. So therefore, I would personally recommend, because I have used STAD also, and then I have used SAFE also. So I would personally recommend that SAFE is a better improved software, especially for foundation systems. Okay. Yes, and one thing that I was telling you, let's say you are doing a building project in STAD, you are saying, isn't it? So you are doing your building project in STAD. So no issue, you can transfer it. As I told you, you can transfer your model from stat to safe, not directly, but through an indirect way. So I will tell you that way through which you can have your model in stat, but then export your model to safe. Okay, that options also we will discuss. That is called as interactive database editing in safe. It is a easy enough option to use. You just have to do some jugglery and you can bring your forces and reactions from stat to safe also. Okay. Yes, Mr. Raghav is saying, no, Mr. Amandeep is asking which version of CSI Safe. So I personally have CSI Safe 12.2. It is good enough to, and it covers almost all the issues. So even if you have some advanced version, it will not be any problem. Okay. Yes, Mr. Raghav is asking before the session, he has never used CSI Safe. Right. So it is extremely easy to use. CSI Safe is very easy to use. All the, as I told you, it is interactive. It is easy looking, pleasing to eyes. I mean, it is good enough to use, easy enough to use. Right. Mr. Abhishek is saying, do you have any weekend batches for working professionals? No, weekends we generally take rest. So we are not doing anything as of now on weekends. But there are recorded videos which you can watch. Let's say if you are a working professional, most of the participants are working professionals who attend our courses. So generally what they do is that they try to watch videos on weekends or maybe during some time that they have after work. They try to watch the videos at that time. Yes, there is a good suggestion given by Sanjay sir also and by Ms. Shraddha also that why do not we include machine foundations to course? Yes, so I think machine foundations is a good suggestion. We will have some basic. See, finally your footing design remains the same. In machine foundations, only thing is there are some criteria regarding the sizing of foundations, isn't it? So there are different types of machines. There is reciprocating machine. There are impact type of machines. There are vibrating machines, rotational machines. So there are different codes, different standards given to these different kind of machines that you may have. And basically, the foundation design part is pretty simple. Foundation design part is pretty simple. Only thing is that you need to work out their sizes. So the size working, for example, if I tell you that for vibrating type of machines, you have to calculate the frequency of your machine and you have to calculate the frequency of your soil and footing system, isn't it? So that's how you have to work out your size. Once you work out the size, then your normal design of foundation remains more or less the same. Okay. So I will try to include some concepts related to machine foundation also because it is a useful topic to cover. So I will try to cover some issues related to machine foundation also. Okay. Yes, Mr. Raghav is saying try to provide soft copy for manual calculations. It would be beneficial for us. Yes, so we would expect that I would be solving it on board or on digital screen, whatever is the medium. So I would be trying to solve it on board or screen, and I would expect that you take a note of it. Okay, instead of I typing it again and giving it to you as an handout, it would be better for your understanding also if you at least for once write it down yourself. Okay. So, as such, printed notes we will not be giving. We would expect you to take notes yourself. Calculation part, most of the calculation part, we would be doing in the class itself on the board. So that time you can take down your notes and you can then later, I mean, use it as you require. Okay, right. Yes, Redmi is asking, can you share design Excel sheets during the course? So again, design Excel sheets, I can tell you how you can, for what aspects do you need to make Excel sheets, but I would like to encourage you to make Excel sheets by yourself, so that you understand the actual concept behind it, isn't it? Excel sheets, anyway, there are lots of Excel sheets freely available for each type of design, but just downloading the Excel sheet actually does not serve the purpose, isn't it? Yes, we have amongst us Mr. Kenny. So he himself is Masters in Geotechnical Engineering from IIT Roorkee. So we welcome Mr. Kenny to the session. So what is he asking? Course content on screen. Yes, course content, Mr. Kenny, it will include design of isolated foundations, design and detailing of eccentric foundations, eccentric footings, combined footings, piles and pile caps, and rafts using CSI Safe and some manual methods. Okay. Yes, Mr. Aman is asking detailing of foundation in AutoCAD or in board. No, I mean, how will it matter? Because once we cover the foundation detailing in, even if I draw it on board, the same has to be made in AutoCAD, isn't it? So I think it will not matter. I will show you how a typical drawing for footing should look like. That I will show you. So that can be done in the AutoCAD. I will show you how drawings for different systems like pile caps, footings, rafts need to be prepared. That I will show you. Prepared drawings, that is, I will show you how they look like and what details have to be provided in these drawings. These things I will tell you. Yes, Mr. Raghav is asking, I am using report writing of geotechnical investigation for soil and rock. It would help me in this session. I am using report writing of geotechnical investigation for soil and rock. So you are preparing reports for geotechnical investigation. Is that what you are saying? I am using okay. See, we no. So you yourself are preparing geotechnical reports, or okay. See, as I told you, I would take up the issue of geotechnical reports and how to. Okay, I prepared after getting lab data. So see, we would not be covering geotechnical report writing as such. I would show you what things should be or what things are generally included in a geotechnical report and what is the data that is important for the structural engineer to consider. These aspects I would cover. We would not be going into in-depth understanding of report because that is the work of a qualified geotechnical engineer because we do not understand many of the allied issues. So I would not be going in depth in the understanding of geotechnical report. We would only like to interpret whatever information is of importance to us. All right. Yes, Mr. Anish is asking what will be the length of this course, how many sessions. So this course will span for about 25 sessions is what we expect. 25, not 25 working days, 25 sessions. All right. Yes, you already know how our courses go. So yes. Yes. Any other question? Right. Any other question that you may have? Design of foundations for live project will also be taken. Yes, see, so what we will do over here is that because we are going to cover three types of footings, isn't it? So we would be taking up small projects because the emphasis would be more on the footing part rather than the superstructure part, isn't it? So what I will do, I will try to take up small projects having, let's say, 6 7 columns, 8 columns, where we will try to design these systems individually. Okay, let's say we do a raft for some project, we do a isolated footing for some project, we do a pile cap. So in this way we will try to cover. So the project scale would be small because we want to emphasize more on the footing system For piles, I think we can take up an industrial shed because that would be more convenient for you to understand. We will take up a case of industrial shed, and we will assume that you have to provide piles for the industrial shed. Okay, because that case will become actually very interesting, because that is where you will appreciate the uh, true use or true benefit of piles. Okay, so we will take up a case of a small industrial shed for piles. We will take up a very small RCC building for isolated footings. So isolated, combined, eccentric, all those footings will be included in one project itself. And then we will try to take up a project where we are able to include the raft in that. Okay. So three small projects we will take to cover these three independent issues. Yes, Mr. Raghav is asking, without taking all structure, how could it be possible to design the footing? This is a good question to ask. So see, what we are expecting over here is, because this is a focused course, so we are only emphasizing more on the footing system. So here we are expecting, therefore, if you see in the one of the previous slides, I had written that here we are expecting that the participant has some basic knowledge about the superstructure. Because I have seen this, that if we try to cover all the issues in one course, that course becomes extremely long, isn't it? It may go on for 2.5 months. So by that time, the people lose interest. So we don't want to cover all the issues in one course as such. Therefore, we are only going to focus more on the footing part right now. So that's what I said, that we are expecting that the participant has some basic understanding and basic knowledge about the superstructure. Okay, let's say you know how to do your normal beam column design, not in great detail maybe, but you have some basic understanding about the superstructure. But you have some confusions about the footings and footing systems that are used, and therefore you are joining this course. All right. So that is the intention behind conducting this course. We therefore, as I told you, we have also started one more category of courses where we focus more on the application part. So where we go a little bit less on theory, but we go in where we focus more on the application. So those type of courses also we have started by the name of Virtual Design Center. So that one of the course we are already doing it in the morning these days. So there we focus more on the application part. We go less on theory, light on theory, and we focus more on application. So the student should be able to do a complete project on its own, on his or her own, even even if they have a little less theoretical understanding then also. Okay. So in this course, basically we are going to focus more on the footing part. Yes. So if you are a fresher, see, if you are a fresher who is just into, I mean, who is not aware of the issues related to superstructure, then I will say don't attend this course right now, because this is more for people who know issues related to superstructure. Okay. Yes. Yes. Any other question? Okay. So I think we have no more questions. Yes, Mr. Raghav is asking when you will start with superstructure. Okay, so I will inform you. You are already on my mailing list. So I will inform you when we have a course where we cover uh, maybe the virtual design center course that we are running. When we cover the next edition, then I will inform you. Okay. Yes, Redmi is asking time. Time for session 7:30 p.m. Monday to Friday from 4th of January 2021. 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Yes. Any other question? Yes, Mr. Raghav is asking, can you plan a session if we are a group of students? No, we are already conducting session in the morning. That's what I said. And in evening, anyway, we are doing this, and rest of the day we are doing our office work. So we are actually a little bit tied up in all these issues. So uh, yes, you can join morning session. You give me a call. I will or write to me on WhatsApp. I will brief you about that. Yes, for all structure, just give me a call or write to me on WhatsApp. I will just give you a brief uh, on WhatsApp. Okay. Yes. Any other question? So see, I will again repeat. If you are not aware of superstructure issues, if you are totally unaware of beam, column, slab, etc., etc., then I would not recommend you to join this course, because here we are assuming that you have some, not much, but some basic understanding you have regarding the superstructure. Okay, because this is a focused course where we are going to focus more on the more on the substructural aspects. All right. Yes, Mr. Weber is asking, effect of EQ on footings will also be taken up. So see, this was also asked to me by who was asking this question? Mr. Jigar. I think he was asking me this question the other day. So I was telling him the same thing, that generally earthquake is anyway not considered directly on footing, isn't it? What we generally assume is that our footings are going to behave integrally with your earth. So they are going to, there is going to be no inertial force on footing as such, isn't it? So basically, we say that whatever earthquake forces are going to act, or whatever even wind forces are going to act on your superstructure. All right. So the superstructure has to be designed for all these issues, and then whatever are the forces that are getting transferred to footings, that anyway we have to take. So if you are talking about the soil structure interaction, or if you are talking about liquefaction, then those issues we will not take up right now, because they would become slightly more complicated for a basic course on footing. So we will not take up the cases, or we will not take up the issue of soil structure interaction or liquefaction right now. But earthquake being applied on superstructure, those things anyway we will cover. Okay. So I will tell you the clauses where you are allowed to increase the bearing capacity by 25%, or where you are required to do what? Yeah, mainly the bearing capacity increase in 25%, or maybe what all other issues are involved in IS 1893 related to footing design. I think this is one point, important point that is involved. And deciding about your medium soil, soft soil, hard strata on the basis of geotechnical properties. Those things we will discuss. But otherwise, the effect of earthquake on footings directly need not be considered. Okay, because it is already being considered for your superstructure. Okay. Yes. Thank you to Smita ma'am for attending. Yes. Any more questions we have? All right. So I think we don't have any further questions. So that would be all then. We hope to see all of you on 4th of January, and we will have a good time together. And wishing you a very good, happy, and healthy new year. Okay. So as we enter into 2021, let's hope for better things to come, health wise and knowledge wise, prosperity wise. We all hope for good things. Okay. So see you next year in 2021. All right. Okay. Bye bye. Have a good time, and hope to see all of you in the new year. Okay. All right. Bye bye. Take care.